Sands of time blowing across the beach. Sometimes it's lies they little out of reach.
Welcome to Outreach Warrior. I'm your host, James Baker, with special guest today, Shaleria. Hi, Shaleria.
Hey, James. Hey, everyone.
I'm always nervous I'm going to say your name wrong, so that's right.
No, it was perfect.
It took me a little while to learn it.
The I is silent. That's the key.
Gotcha. So, Shaleria is joining us today. We're super excited about this, continuing our series working with outreach warriors that are in the field and that are helping people all around Central Florida. So, Shaleria is a caseworker. She's done a whole bunch of other stuff, but we're just going to jump right into it and ask you the first question, obviously the most important question of all of them. And so how did you get into the field of social work?
That's a wonderful question. I would say both personal experience really kind of motivated me to work with people that are underserved, they suffer from a lot of different environmental, external, internal factors, but for the most part, just personal experience, and then just growing up in communities that weren't as flourished as other places.
Totally opposite with me. When I grew up, it was very affluent, and I wasn't exposed to any type of situations or poverty or anything like that. It wasn't until I left home and started seeing everything that was going on in the world. So, as a demographic, what populations of people do you work with?
I have worked with children. I started off working with children, primarily like young toddlers, ages 5 and under, working with early Head Start and Head Start. And then I also started working with children and families, Department of Children and Families. And then I currently work with youth, which are, adolescent age, 18 to 21, and adults at my internship, so any age in regards to those.
So you're all over the place. You've done the
pretty much.
You spanned the globe there.
Yes, definitely.
So coming with that, what positions have you held? All those age groups and different people.
Oh gosh, so many. Again, when I was working with early Head Start and Head Start, I started off as a teacher, teacher's aide, and then I moved my way up into a toddler's teacher. Then when I left them, I worked for the 4C umbrella company, and I was a family advocate. So helping the families, kind of registering them for and enrolling them for the 4C and early Head Start. And then I started working as a child protective investigator with Department of Children and Families, my most interesting job by far. And then now I'm a case manager with a youth shelter. So,
wow, DCF, that must have been a lot.
Oh yeah, all I hear are bad things still, but I mean there are definitely good things, and it was a huge learning lesson in my life.
Awesome. So what are some of your experiences working with children and their families that kind of stand out to you?
I would just say educating those families that again are underserved or just don't have as many access to resources as other communities, and that are not aware of those resources. So definitely educating the families about the resources, connecting them to different things in the community, and just helping them meet their basic needs. Just because that's super, super important. They need a place to be able to rest their head. They need a place to be able to eat and stuff like that. Shower, just those basic and essential needs. And then also just kind of helping them further their goals, either, helping them with linking them to employment agencies, substance misuse counseling, family counseling, a whole bunch of different resources.
I was going to say, does mental health and substance abuse come up quite a bit?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
So being in social services, it seems like a very demanding job. Do you feel, from what you've experienced, there's a high burnout rate or turnovers? And
whew, yes. It is, but the thing of it is people need to learn their tricks and kind of I'm going to stress this, I'm sure you've heard it before in your career as well, but self-care. People need to learn how to time manage things and also be able to take time for themselves so that they can avoid like that burnout and just feeling overworked and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can imagine. That's some good advice. My career is short. I'm still learning a lot about what's going on, but it seems the demographic of people that we work with and that are in this field are just really caring, and they really are trying to make a difference and trying to give back. But I can see how it can burn you out pretty quickly if you're not taking care of yourself. Piggybacking off that, so what motivates you? What keeps you going working with this in this field?
I would have to piggyback off of what you just said, just knowing that there's people in this field, both clients and workers, professionals, that are so focused on creating social change and that really care, because we don't want our people just being out on the streets or going without things that they need. So I think the biggest motivation for me is just having that in the back of my mind that, I'm humble enough to know that I have my basic needs met. So let me see if I can help someone else meet their basic needs.
And there's so many things that we take for granted. That,
Definitely.
We never, just like soap, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like so many, it's always there,
Yeah.
like so many people don't, that's just a luxury.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of my favorite questions, what was the most difficult time you've gone through, or a situation or something that really challenged you?
I would say, I have a lot of those, but as I think that I can relate to most people, I think that learning how to not take things home with you with working in the field of social work, because it is such a high demanding, a very personal experience that you have with people. First and foremost, you're mostly out in the streets or out in the communities with these people face to face, but just definitely doing all that I can and understanding that at that moment that I couldn't have done anything more, and not internalizing, if I wasn't able to help this person with this today. Because again, it just goes back to like me being able to educate them, and those people taking those steps to move forward to do what they need to do. There's only so much that I can do. So I think that's my biggest challenge. It's always been a biggest struggle for me because I'm very empathetic. But yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm learning in this field, personally and again, like career-wise. So
that's what I'm learning too, is not to take it home with you.
Right.
That's how I started everything with. There was one child I was helping. I was a teacher, and I found out a situation. It's a long story short was, he was living in a hotel, and then I wanted to give his family a nice Christmas, but then I saw all the kids living in the hotel, so and we just built off that. But
right.
Yeah, it's hard. And just the other day here in the around this area in the mobile studio here, there was someone around the corner going through the dumpster, and I was just like, hey, and he's like, oh, I found some clothes, and I was like, cool, man. I gave him a bottle of water, and he was very thankful. But yeah, it's hard not to take with you, just because we care about the people so much, and it's tough, but it's a part of the gig, I guess. So what are your future goals in social work and this field?
I would say my future goals would be definitely to continue doing a lot of case management, because again, the kids that I've worked with go through really traumatic situations and abuse and neglect, and there's a huge demand with that, especially when I was working with the department, having to be that advocate for those children. So I still want to definitely, children and youth, I still definitely want to do casework for a little while, and then eventually I am currently in school to get my MSW. So I'm finishing that up, but eventually I'm going to get my LCSW so that I could be a licensed clinical social worker.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, hopefully provide some sort of either family or trauma-based or trauma-informed type of therapy. But yeah, definitely doing that.
What did that stand for, the M?
MSW, my master's in social work.
Gotcha.
So
that's what I thought.
Yep. And if anybody out there is studying, in the field of social work, don't stop and get your bachelor's. Please get your master's.
Just keep going.
Yes, keep going.
What is one thing, if you had the power to change about this industry?
Whew. That is a strong question, because there's so many things, but I would say the availability of certain resources, because I know, we've had conversations in regards to like what we do on the side as far as outreach, and just to kind of dive into that a little bit, I feel like there's not enough day service resources out there in the community that people can actually just go to, like just meeting their basic needs, again, for showers and clothing and food and stuff like that. Like, I think it's great that you're actually trying to pioneer something like that as well. But I would definitely say that just the availability and accessibility of a lot of different resources is something that I wish I could change. I wish I had the power to open more shelters and, provide those daily services to a lot more people.
Yeah, me and Alex were talking yesterday when we had our, hope you checked out the Alex interview. So talking about the coalition for the homeless, how they just go and they're just hanging out all day there waiting for a bed and stuff, and then you just conjugating and waiting.
Right,
So,
right.
so what you're saying is, awesome. Like that. I mean, that's my dream goal someday, to open something like a little village or something, just very simple. I mean, sheds with some bed, you know what I mean? Like very, very simple, but
Right.
it takes a lot of work and financing, but
Yeah.
we'll never know. Goals. It's always nice to manifest your goals. I mean,
Exactly.
who are your inspirations for getting into this, or who do you look up to?
I would say my great grandmother, who was my best friend. She also did a lot of, she didn't necessarily do social work, but she did a lot of like community outreach, and based on her religion and stuff like that with the church. So that's a huge influence and motivation to my, career goals. But also I would just say myself, and just people that have been there for me and that have always, held me to this high regard. So just doing that, and God as well, but definitely just everyone that's been there to support me.
That's awesome. So flip it up a little bit, pretend you were the one seeking for help. And what do you think would make a great social worker? So if someone, let's say somebody was assigned to you, and what would you look for?
Okay. I would, if I was a person that needed help, social services or anything like that in this scenario, I would think that the person that I would best want to talk to is someone that just listens first and foremost, just hears what I have to say, and then someone that I am able to talk to and don't feel judged, like someone that I can tell them, like, this is what I did last night, I was sleeping here, or I got into this, or maybe I was abusing this or something like that, and they just don't have any sort of judgment regarding that. So yeah, I think that those are the two biggest things. Just someone that's there to listen and someone that's not there to judge is what I would want.
Absolutely. And just, from what we do here and whatnot, I feel like that's 70% of my job here is talking to them. And I think it legitimately helps sometimes. They seem like it helps, and they feel better, and they get the stuff off their chest. And, completely non-judgmental, Wow. So that was pretty awesome. Is there anything else that we didn't cover that you'd like to share and get out to our listeners?
No, but I hope you guys are successful in everything that you guys do. Stay positive, continue to stay strong, continue to support other social workers, and just outreach people in general. Thank you so much for having me on this episode, and hopefully I'll check back in with you guys soon.
Thank you, Shaleria. Please come back on. Down the road, I'd love to get everyone for a group forum at some point. We can talk about experiences and everything.
Definitely share more discussion.
And if you have a story, or if you know someone that is in need or has a story to tell, please reach out to us at outreachwarrior@gmail.com. Check us out on YouTube at Outreach Warrior. And thank you for listening, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Living here for centuries, yet I feel so lost. Men will do just what they please, never count the cost. And who's gonna help me find my way back home? And who's gonna help me find my way? And who's gonna help me find my way back home, so I can live another day? Mother Nature can be so cruel. For centuries we survived. Now I find myself swimming hard, trying to stay alive. And who's gonna help me find my way back home? And who's gonna shore. Not the natural thing to do, and I wanted nothing more than to return to the ocean